All right, finna get it started. Come on, now you already know what time it is.
Yes, sir.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Life of a Champ podcast, episode number 100.
100.
100. I can't believe this, man. I
Yes,
can't believe you
sir.
made it, but I already knew it was gonna happen. But yeah, we here right now. So for today's topic, we're going to be discussing a lot of different things, but for the most part, I would say the main topic is going to be the fool to the master, right? So this is something that was very very significant to me when I first started making videos. Period. So that is something we'll definitely talk about today for sure. For the people that do not know you, Anthony, which you watching this, you should know who the hell Anthony is by now. Go ahead and introduce yourself to people.
Hello. I'm back again. At this point, you should already know. I'm not gonna say it.
Go
I'm not
ahead.
gonna say it. Should I say it for the 100 podcast? Should I say
For
it?
the 100, go ahead, man.
The chocolate goat is back, baby. I had to for the 100. I had to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Jaden, appreciate you for stopping by. I appreciate that. All right. Give me 1 second. All right. 100 podcasts deep, fellas. 100 podcasts deep, man. Let me tell you. What a journey. What a journey, right? Man, let me tell you. That's all I gotta say, man. That's really all I gotta say right there. So yeah, first a few things I want to mention with actually hitting 100 podcasts is basically every single podcast. I would say every 10 podcasts I did want to go ahead and do better. So hopefully that's something that I have fulfilled for sure. Obviously, Anthony, you being here for 13 podcasts, I'm sure you've seen the growth.
Oh hell yeah.
Even in both of us, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
right? With just speaking and just presenting ourselves in general, right? What would you say? What would you say to that? Because obviously that is something that not a lot of people get the opportunity to do, and obviously have it on a platform like this.
Oh yeah, I think it's nice to if you go back and look at the old videos, you can definitely see the improvement, just in the quality of the video and the frequency of the speech. There less pauses, more fluently
Yeah.
speaking. Yeah. More constructive layouts for the pods too. That's very nice. Yeah, it's a lot better structured than when we started. So
Yeah, for sure. It was just, hey, let's just get it rocking. Let's see what happens,
Exactly.
man. Let's see what happens. So, yeah, if you're new here, make sure go ahead and leave in the comments because we do get to see the live comments for sure. Just so we can see who's new here. Like I said, make sure you go to subscribe if this is your first time watching, as well as a few things I do want to mention at the beginning of the podcast before I actually get into it too deep, right? I'm also on TikTok as well, just Life of a Champ podcast on TikTok, as well as I post YouTube shorts. So, like I said, if you're new, make sure you go ahead and leave a like on those as well. I try to post a few every single day, so tap it with that for sure. Also, one thing I want to mention as well, this podcast is the 400th video on this channel, so no one can tell me that I haven't been putting in the work because this is the 400th video, right? 100 podcasts deep, 400 videos. It's as simple as that, man. It's as simple as that. Other than that, like I said, also, if you're watching on Twitch, let me know because I'm also live on Twitch as well. So tap in with that for sure. Leave me a follow. Give me 1 second. See if anybody else on Twitch. Okay. All right. So through this entire journey of the podcast, there's a few things that I have observed of within myself, right? And this is something that we kind of referred to earlier, but it's still in its own way. It still has meaning for sure. So this is seeking constant evolution and self-analysis, right? Throughout this entire time, this has been an evolution of my character, truly, right? And in all different aspects of life, like we had mentioned, the speech is one thing that's definitely changed for sure, right? The way I present myself, my confidence, my ability to speak on certain topics, my ability to even think, which is very very important because a lot of people don't overthink thinking, right? They actually underthink thinking, if that makes any sense. But it has allowed me to really think of the opinions that I have and how I would like to present myself to the people, for sure. So that's definitely been a part of the constant evolution, as well as, like I said, the self-analysis as well, right? Evaluating my personal development, more importantly, right? Because a lot of people they don't do that, right? And this is something that I recommend for every single person watching this, right? You need to really self-analyze yourself and see if you're doing what you know you need to do, right? A lot of people, they just live life, right? Anthony, I'm sure you could agree with this. A lot of people
Yeah.
live life, but they don't second guess what they're doing and how they're doing it. So for those people, Anthony, what would be some advice that you'd give to those people?
That's a good question. What would I give to those people? Uh, I'd say first of all, you have to take a step back, right? Take a step back and analyze what you want to be in life, right? and where you are right now, and ask yourself, is the route you're on right now, where are you heading in the right direction? Like, are you going where you want to be going, right?
Yeah, for sure.
If the answer is no, it is okay, because you still have time to get yourself on track.
Hopefully you have time.
Hopefully you have time.
Yeah. I agree.
For most people, it's not. I mean, for the most people, right? For the, who this audience is directed towards, it more than likely shouldn't be too late for you.
For sure.
Yeah, because if it is already, then you must have fucked up real bad.
Yeah, there's no
Real
way.
bad.
There's no way.
There's no way.
All right, so one thing I also want to do as well at the beginning, I want to make this a thing that I do with the people that I do have on for sure. So Anthony is the first person, right? Like I said, been on for many podcasts. I'll go ahead and run down the podcast that he's been on, and then I'll get him to do his signature and things like that. So the podcast Anthony's been on is episode number 1, 12, 15, 23, 29, 38, 40, 50, 59, 67, 71, 91, and 100. So with that being said, like I said, all the new guests that I have on moving forward, they're going to go ahead and sign this. And so this is something that I definitely wanted to be a part of the the culture of the podcast, right? So it gives people their own personal touch and actually feels like they're contributing to something, and will also be shown with other people as well. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. So go ahead, Anthony. Like
Yes,
you
sir.
can pick anywhere you want. You're the first person, so you can do it as big as you would like, but don't do it too damn big now.
I'm not gonna do it too big, but I'm definitely gonna make it bigger than the other people are gonna get the chance to get. I'll tell you that right now.
God damn, he's doing it big as hell. I'll tell you that.
Don't worry, I'll do the last name a little bit smaller.
And then do the numbers small as well. So, like I said, I'll read them out to you, and you go ahead and put them down.
Oh my goodness, that last name is terrible.
All right,
Terrible.
episodes number 1, 12, 15,
15.
23,
Goddamn.
29, 38,
38.
40, 50, 59,
Goddamn.
67,
Okay.
71,
All right.
91.
91.
And today's number 100. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
100. Yes, sir.
So, yeah, so like I said, every single person that I have on, I definitely want them to contribute in this specific way, because it is something that is a visual representation of, the progress, right, and the contribution to the people for sure. So we'll go ahead and get into it from here, right?
I hit every number except the 80s.
Yes, for whatever reason, I didn't even observe that until I was writing this down. It was so odd because there was a 20 podcast stretch where you weren't on, which is
Yeah.
really, really odd. But yeah, it is what it is. Like I said, if you're in here and you either have a question for me when it comes to this journey, make sure you go ahead and leave in the comments for sure. But yeah, it doesn't look like too many people are commenting, but it's all good though. It's all good. All right. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second, man. All right. Getting into it. Whew. All right. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so with this entire podcast, right, my vision has became a lot more clear. In my mind in general has became a lot more clear as far as me recognizing the potential negative outcomes and how to combat them. So more specifically, kind of like where I'm going, right? What could be the potential downfalls of where I'm going, right? So this is something that I've definitely observed, and like I said, it's part of that self-analysis, right? And yeah, I would just say just avoiding certain aspects or certain decisions that most people make in my similar position. It's given me enough time to make my vision very, very clear. And like I said, as I don't know if you guys seen it as of recently, but there's been a lot of people who've made mistakes in the past when it comes to being in a similar position. So with recognizing all those mistakes, it's definitely given me a lot of perspective as far as how to move, and yeah, like I said, how to move, how to speak, how to think, how to portray ideas that's not going to blow the lid off of everybody, right? There's definitely going to be a lot of opinions that I do have, and Anthony, you know this too, and Anthony, you have the same damn opinions.
Yeah, for sure.
That definitely are going to get an emotional reaction out of the people that are watching, but quite frankly, do it in a way that's civilized. Let's just say that's civilized for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's definitely been a very, very big plus about doing this podcast over the entire time for sure. And another thing that I want to mention as well, which I'm surprised I haven't already mentioned this, but I do want to say thank you to every single person who has contributed to the podcast, whether this is somebody that has been in my life or that is in my life right now, or like I said, a person who's left my life, right? There's been a lot of people who have contributed and who's shown a lot of support and a lot of belief in me and my abilities, right? So they see and recognize the potential. And it's definitely been great to have all those people, right? I would name the list off of people, but thankfully I have so many people that I cannot name everybody. So if you're watching this, like I said, you're definitely a contribution and definitely a supporter of mine, and I do appreciate that for sure. And like I said, if you show me the love, I'm gonna show it back for sure. Anthony, you know this as well.
Oh, for
Everybody
sure.
watching this, you know this, right? If you are a supporter of my podcast early when I'm making this up, man, then yeah, you'll definitely have my support in anything you do for sure. With that being said, like I said, I can't give enough credit to those people for sure. You know, being able to see the vision, not many people can see the vision, but it's okay because quite frankly, everybody's gonna see the vision eventually. I'll tell you that for sure.
Yep.
Um, yeah. So Anthony, when it comes to when it comes to supporting Anthony, what would you say is what would you say a lot of people lack? Why do you think a lot of people lack supporting people in what they want to do? Because you do see that as well. Like maybe you
Yeah.
see like fake supporters as well. That's something that I've seen
Hmm.
plenty of times, right? What do you think about those people specifically that are kind of there
Actually,
but they're kind of not?
they're kind of there, but they're not. Okay, this one is actually a really interesting question. It's a really good question because those people, I don't know how to explain it. It's like part of them they're either jealous, right? Which I'd say, which either whether it's attention or not, right?
Okay.
Like they want to be there for this person, right? But deep down, their heart's just not in it, right? Like it's not genuine support.
Yeah.
Which it just comes about if like they have something that you want, and you're like, hey, yeah, you want to be happy for them,
Yeah.
but you're like, why not me? Which I don't understand. I can't understand why we can't just all grow together. But it is what it is. And then there's just the people who will claim to support you, but that's only because they're just preying on your downfall, right? And it's easier to do that, right? When if they pretend to be close to you, than from a distance where they're just hating just hating from a distance. So
Hating from a distance, that's for damn sure.
yeah.
KJ, appreciate you for stopping by, my guy. Most people are not able to see unless it's something. Yeah, exactly. I would agree with you. Appreciate you for stopping by. People that are fake are showing their true intentions, bro. They never miss. They never mess with you. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, one thing I will say though, right? Like let's just say in a year from now, right? I'm in a different position. Obviously, I'm going to be in a different position, right? If I do see people come out the woodworks trying to support me, man, and you weren't there at the beginning, man. Let me tell you, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let you know. Yeah, you're fake, man. Simple, man.
Yeah.
Where were you at? Where were you at when I was posting 100 and nobody was watching, right? Where were you at, man?
Exactly.
Simple. So like I said, I'll keep the receipts, man. You gotta keep the receipts, man. You already know what time it is, man. But like I said, I appreciate everyone for actually who has supported me for damn sure. Like I said, I can't emphasize that enough because, yeah, I really can't just emphasize that enough for sure. Yeah, it is what it is, man. Also with this podcast, and I want people to take something from this for sure. And have made a podcast on this for sure. I can't remember what number it is, but it is the importance of thinking critically, right? I don't know if you've seen this as of recently, but I've seen this plenty of times over the last year. Even creating this podcast, right? I recognize this trend within society where people are not thinking critically, right? And I don't know if you've watched that podcast, but more specifically with that one, that's like people just believing what they're told instead of actually like taking the time to do their research.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Like I said, they just don't take the time to research things. They just hear something and say, "I believe it. I'm gonna go ahead and say it." So that is something that also has been a very very interesting observation for sure. Anthony, what do you think about that? People that lack that critical thinking, lack that ability to.
Like that critical thinking. All
Yeah.
right. For this one, I think it's perfect because I heard a quote for this one, right? And it goes, don't. It says, "Don't mimic or like believe anything." Well, actually, I heard you say it as well. Um, don't go along with someone you don't want to. Don't take advice from someone you don't want to be like, right?
Facts.
So I think with the whole taking advice right off the bat thing, right? That says, hey, okay, clearly this person is more knowledgeable than I am of this topic, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna take it as it is. Or better yet, right? Say, hey, this person might have more knowledge than me, unless I want to look into it myself to see if it is actually credible.
Yeah, for sure.
So with that, it's like do the research before you just say. Never take what people say at face value, right?
That's for sure. Yeah, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, and another thing with this, right? It's like I said, it's very very important, right? You know, if you're hearing something for the first time, instead of believing it wholly, right? You should definitely, hear the other side, right? Hear the other side. That's why I made this podcast in the first place, is to go ahead and, if things come up within conversation, or let's just say I have an opinion, right? I bring somebody else on to get their 2 cents on a specific thing. So everybody watching this, right? Me doing this, the person that I am doing it with, as well as the people watching, can come to a more um, well thought out decision or well thought out opinion that they will have. So, like I said, that is definitely another important thing about creating a podcast like I have. Right, it's definitely been great to think more critically than most people actually do. Right, like I said, I see it too often, man. I see it too often where somebody will just say something, and then absolutely have no foundation. Right, so they're easily destroyed in arguments. Right, if somebody has an opposing view, absolutely cannot hold their own because that's just something that they heard and they just repeated.
And the problem with that is they go straight to the emotional response with an argument like that, and an
Facts.
emotional response loses an argument. I'd say 99% of the time. 100% of the time, I'd say, if for someone who knows how to debate.
That's for sure.
Yeah, but 99% of the time, though, the person who comes with the actual logic is gonna win, because if they know, right? Because it doesn't matter how your feelings are on the topic, right? If unless you can see a topic from an unbiased point of view, right? That means the good with the bad, right? Whatever that may be, and you draw a conclusion, right? That's clearly like, hey, this is a solid in between for both of them, right?
Yeah.
This is clearly how this route is supposed to go. Then you can base an argument off of that, right?
Yeah.
And when you take and you can when you can factor in both sides of an argument and get the perfect in between, you're not winning that argument. No one else is someone else isn't gonna win that argument, right?
Mhm.
Because you've done the research. But when you don't do the research, and you just say, "Hey, I'm gonna say such, right?" Well, now we're on the other side, right? Because we see literally, I've seen this happen before. Because
Yeah.
I've seen the comments on some of the video on some of the shorts sometimes, right? And we're just we're laughing,
Clowns, bro.
we're laughing because people just
Like I said, they're walking face palms for sure.
exactly.
Let me read some comments real quick. LeBron he's going for the record. Champ going for 100. You already know what time it is, man. Appreciate the congratulations, by the way. Like I said, man, come on. You already know what time it is, man. All right, give me 1 second. Damn. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Yeah, and also with thinking critically as well, right? One thing that I recognize very thoroughly within society, and this is something that I've mentioned for sure on other podcasts, right, is people are not willing to have the uncomfortable conversations that need to be had, right? And that is also another reason why I wanted to make this podcast, is to have those specific conversations, right? And be able to talk about those things that, like I said, not a lot of people want to talk about, or not a lot of people want to face truly. Um, but yeah, those conversations push society forward for sure, right? And I'm sure you can see this as well.
Yeah.
What's up, Hazel? But yeah, I'm sure you see that. I'm sure you see this as well for sure. So, like I said, having those conversations are definitely going to be a lot of the things that I do talk about on this podcast for sure. So if you enjoy people trying to figure out what the hell is going on in this world, right? You definitely got to go ahead and subscribe and support for sure. Yeah, but what do you think about that? What do you think about the importance of having those conversations, even if they can feel uncomfortable at times, Anthony?
Yeah. They're necessary because they help you get to the root of problems, right? If you can get to the root of problems, right, and come to a reasonable conclusion, or a reasonable standpoint, right,
Mm.
you can grow with just about anybody. So if you can do that as one person, imagine what a society could do if they actually, instead of just bitching at each other, right, back and
Actually.
forth, all right, imagine if they actually took the time and sat down and like, hey, I see your point of view,
Mm-hmm.
you see my point of view.
Yep.
Now let's make something happen, right? Let's grow off of this. Let's see where we can find a perfect compromise, right?
Mm.
Only problem is no one ever wants to have those conversations, right? Because it hurts feelings, it upsets people, right? Everyone gets angry. People do wild shit because of these type of conversations, and that's why no one wants to talk about them.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? You can't be like I said, you just can't be scared to have the conversation because a lot of people are just scared to be wrong or say the wrong thing, right? And that is the human element of conversation. That is a human element of just anything with that, right? So you got to be willing to be wrong, right? This is something that I realized with making this podcast, right? Not everything that I'm going to say is going to be right all the time,
Yep.
right? You can't always have an opinion and say the right thing always. Something that I've said time and time again on this podcast, right? And I'm just like everybody else, right? We're just like everybody else trying to figure out what the hell's going on, trying to figure out what we believe in and what we stand for, right?
Yeah.
And the only way you're going to figure that out thoroughly is by having the conversations. It's just by having conversation in general, right? If you're not if we're suppressing conversation, then we're never going to figure out exactly what we should have thought, right? We're not going to go deeper on topics that we should go deeper on. So yeah, that is definitely one of the reasons why for sure I've made this podcast and something that, like I said, I wanted people to see the utility in viewing a podcast or even watching any podcast in general, right? Um, as of recently, I would say within the last 10 years has definitely been a lot more of a viable form of entertainment, and I do believe that it is probably one of the biggest things um, as far as moving society forward because, like I said, you can have the conversations, and a lot of people they're just now finding out that conversations are actually interesting to have by watching these podcasts, right? And like I said, society, and you know this too, Anthony, man.
Yep.
Society's so antisocial nowadays, right? A simple conversation is interesting. But
Which
isn't
is
that,
which is actually insane.
that's what I'm saying, right? That's what I'm saying.
Is-
Yeah, no, that's literally what it is, right? That's literally what it is. Hold up, let me read some comments quick. Champ did now, and he's going to. Yeah, exactly. You already know what time it is, man. You already know what time it is. Like I said, appreciate that, KJ. Appreciate that. It depends. Some conversations are best not to be said, and not because it's uncomfortable, because time would be better used somewhere else. I agree. I agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
That definitely has some validity behind it for sure. Um, but like I said, there's too many people scared to like I said, say the wrong thing. You got to be willing to say the wrong thing to have an opinion to just talk in general, right? You got to be willing to say the wrong thing, or you're just not going to talk at all.
exactly.
Obviously, yeah, he's right though. Go ahead.
Because the thing is, people hate, and I'm no exception to this. People hate being wrong,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
which is why they go off the rails with arguments sometimes, and which is why they don't bring things up sometimes, right?
Mm.
But if you have to accept, right, being wrong isn't the end of the world. It really isn't, right? Because hey, if you're wrong now, just you can if you can accept that, right? If you're willing to accept that you're wrong now,
Yeah.
you'll be right next time. And then, well, no, not next time or the time after that, but you'll be right eventually, right? And by the time you're right, you realize, hey, if I'm right, and if I'm right now,
Yeah.
someone's wrong.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
like I said, if you're not willing to be wrong, then you'll never be right at all. You'll never be right. With that being said, like I said, it's very, very important to have opinions on certain things for sure. And like I said, enough to, like I said, have the dialogue for sure.
Yep.
Hold up, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Hold up, man. Another thing I want to say with having conversation, right? And this is something that people lack for sure. When you get into a conversation, Anthony, tell me if you see this or don't see this within conversations by most people, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to getting into conversations with people,
Mm-hmm.
you must first seek understanding,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. 100%.
So do you think that's common in conversation? Yes or no?
Understanding.
No, to try to seek understanding.
Oh, to try to
a
seek
person,
understanding.
A person hearing somebody out and saying, "Let me try to hear what they have to say," and like I said, seek the understanding of what they're trying to say.
No. This is severely lacking at the moment. People are not trying to understand. People nowadays they listen to respond. They don't listen to hear. Right.
Exactly.
When you listen to hear, right, you get the full perspective, right? You get someone's full perspective. When you just listen to respond, you whatever they're saying, they might as well be lost words. That person might as well be talking to a brick wall
Facts.
because you're not thinking about you're not taking in and processing what someone else is saying. You're just going in one ear and coming out the other, so that you can, because those people, right, when they listen to respond, they're not thinking about what the other person's saying. So they're thinking about what they're gonna say to counteract what the person that's talking to them is saying.
Mm-hmm.
They don't retain any of the information. That's the problem, right? People never try to do a nice back and forth, like, okay, I understand this, but this, right? No, it's just like, well, you're wrong because, and it's like,
Yeah, like I said, they don't even give it a
yeah,
shot. They don't give it a shot.
exactly.
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of the lacking things for sure, and that's something that, like I said, I've learned within this time of making the podcast, and something that I definitely will try to apply to the podcast. Obviously, right, seeking understanding, and that's something that, like I said, not a lot of people do. And like Anthony had mentioned, you'll see the back and forth, and it's just, like I said, it's just a messy situation for sure.
Yep.
Hold on, give me one question. Give me 1 second. Hold up. He said, "Yeah, people hate being wrong. That's why they get mad for sure." When they hear Jordan is the GOAT, of course he has to do it on LeBron's day. Come on now. Uh, Gotta put aside the
Oh
ego
man.
and be humble before you can make any progress. Exactly. Like I said, most people are not willing to do that because they're too stubborn, and it's too painful. It's too painful on their ego, for sure. Um, right. Another thing with this, right? And another thing with just creating this podcast in general, right? One thing that I've seen thoroughly, and like I said, everybody that's been on the podcast, looking back and watching their podcast, they see these very very thoroughly. Um, they recognize they recognize their insufficiencies they have, right? And that is something that I have seen time and time again within myself. Obviously, I'm on my self development journey for 5 years, so not only before making the podcast, but while making the podcast, that's something that I've seen for sure. And not a lot of people like to acknowledge their insufficiencies, right? That's another thing that hurts the ego too much. Oh, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. They never even get to that thinking. They're so stubborn and set in their ways that even thinking about any of their insufficiencies is just is almost like is almost repulsive in a way, right? So for those people that lack that introspection and that lack that like I said, seeking out the insufficiencies and trying to make something better for themselves,
Hmm.
what would be some words that you would give to them? Because like I said, they need some damn words for sure.
Yep. What would be some words for them? I'd say at least try to understand what's it called, someone else's perspective. I like just take a moment at least once, right?
Okay.
And at least consider the possibility, right? That this is something they'd have to do on their own before they can even go out in public with it. But consider the possibility that there is a situation where they could be wrong, right?
Okay.
Because if with the whole my way or the highway thinking is a terrible mindset, right?
For sure.
Like if it's they say my way or the highway, well guess what? That's a long ass highway
Facts.
because your way ain't it,
That's
right?
facts. That's facts.
But here's the thing: if they realize like, hey, my way or the highway, if you take that highway, you'll get to a better answer than what you had your way though.
That is for sure.
Which something that they don't understand, but they definitely have to be able to take a step back. It's something they'd have to do on personal time for themselves.
Mm.
Is look inward and say, can I accept that I'm wrong? Right? Can I accept not being right? If I wish to grow, and what I'm doing right now clearly isn't working. Right? Can I first? I have to acknowledge that it's not working. Right?
Yeah.
And but that's gonna take some serious self what's the word I'm looking for?
Analysis.
So yeah, self analysis. Right, it's gonna take
Yeah.
some serious self analysis to come to the conclusion that hey, I'm not getting the results that I want. Right, and and people don't realize like hey, when you go to other people, right, and they tell hey you're doing it wrong, you're like no I'm not doing it wrong at all.
Cap.
Hey, maybe you are, right?
Yeah.
Look back at those conversations or think back if you can remember them, if you can recall them. Think, hey, I'm going to try something different this time. I'm going to try something different, and I'm actually going to listen to hear these people out, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a certain level. Too much of anything is a bad thing, right? There's a certain level of stubbornness that is good to have, in certain situations. Like stand by what you say, but there's a certain level of stubbornness that is just delusional.
Yeah.
Right?
I would agree.
And it just doesn't make any sense. It's those if you have a delusional level of stubbornness, you need to let that shit go. You need to let that go, and start taking in information that people are giving you. Obviously, the people make sure you're getting it from the right sources, but make sure you take in the right information. Right.
For sure. For sure. Yeah. Obviously, a lot of people lack they just lack the information for sure. But let me see these comments real quick. You learn more from L's than you do with any win. What do you think about that, Anthony?
That's very true. That's very true. I remember a quote. It says, "You have to lose to know how to win." Right.
That's
Well,
facts.
yeah, exactly. Every great winner that there ever has been in the world has lost at some point. Right.
Yep. And even the best even some of the best winners have lost the most, right?
That is true. Yep.
Like I said, Anthony, what is when it comes to losses, Anthony? What is your paradigm on losses, man?
Losses. A loss is only a loss if you don't learn from it.
That's facts, though. Nothing
Yeah.
with the facts. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of people they just get discouraged with their loss instead of, like I said, having the introspection, saying, okay, so obviously I didn't get the result that I wanted, but why did I not get the result that I wanted?
Exactly.
They never ask themselves a question. They never, like I said, they're just too resistant in trying to make something of that. And like I said, it's just so defeating. It's so defeating, right?
Exactly.
And
People need to drive. They need more drive. I like every time we play basketball, right? If we lose a game, first thing I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, I know exactly why we lost that game. That's not happening again. Not, damn, we really lost that game. Why did we lose that game? No. If you actively learn while you're in the midst of doing something, if you actively learn, like, hey, okay, this is why I lost. All right, let's change that next time. We're gonna fix that, right? And then you know what happens? You don't lose next time. Or if you do lose, something else went wrong.
facts. Yeah, like I said, there's opportunity for learning.
Exactly. There's
Regardless.
always opportunity for learning.
For sure. Hold on, give me 1 second. Yeah. Also, I want to, with this being said, right? I understand very, very thoroughly with creating this podcast for sure that mistakes are going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I had mentioned, right? I can't say the right thing always, right?
Yeah.
But it's more important to see. I would say everyone can apply this to their own life, right? There's going to be plenty of mistakes that you make, right? Because no one's perfect, right? No one's perfect. And with that being said, I would say it shows your true colors and your true character, about how you handle those certain situations where you are wrong, right? Would you agree with that, Anthony?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I said, I would say most people, like I said, you kind of have to agree with that for sure. But at the same time, like I said, those are going to be the defining moments, the absolute defining moments with your entire character, right? Because like I said, if you make a mistake, and you don't know how to handle yourself, right, you're going to make a bigger mistake. You're going to dig yourself a deeper hole because uh, it truly wasn't something that you actually learned from in the beginning. So yeah, like I said, with this being said, right, um, people just don't know how to apologize, right? I would say that also falls into the same category. People don't know how to apologize truly.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of people are so defeated. Like I said, they're just so defeated when they make mistakes, right? Like, that's absolute tragedy for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Give me 1 second. Hold on, man. Like I said, if you're in here, I appreciate everyone stopping by. Make sure to go and leave a like if you are in here, and also leave a comment because we can see the comments live.
Yeah. Here's some more advice. This one's a little bit more of a joking around, but it actually works though.
Okay, go ahead.
For the people who think they can never be wrong, yeah. If you wanna figure out how to be wrong, no matter what, or find someone more delusional than you, I want you to spend, I'd say, maybe probably don't even need a month. I'd say a week, maybe 2 weeks. Spend 1 or 2 weeks in customer service, and you'll find there's a lot more entitled people than you, right? They'll humble you real quick. They'll humble you real quick.
Humbling.
Yep. You'll find yourself apologizing a lot more often than just wait. Yep.
I say Anthony said he had to learn it the hard way. For damn sure.
They'll find out how to say I'm sorry real fucking quick. Yep.
He said humbling moment.
Well, I tell you that there's no more humbling experience than that. Is when realizing you're right, but you have to take the high route to satisfy someone's ego, man. Ain't nothing more humbling than that. I'll tell you that. That'll humble you.
Fast food, man. What are you talking about, man?
Fast food was so traumatically humbling. Very, very true. Yep. That's why I'm happy I ain't in fast food anymore. I swear. Because if I ever went back, man, I'd get fired first week. Because here's the thing. The fact that I'm not in it anymore, I know. I wouldn't be getting humbled. I'm humbling a customer at this point. Happily. I'd gladly. I tell my coworkers, I'm like, hey, yo, get your phone out. This is about to be a good one. I tell them straight up.
This man said we about to go viral, man.
Yep.
I'm
like,
phone out, man.
It's about to go down. I hit him with one of those. Kevin Hart style. Yep.
That's crazy. Hold up. KJ said people don't know that making mistakes is a part of the journey. You will make mistakes in order. Yeah, you need to make mistakes in order to grow. Yeah, exactly, exactly, for sure. You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
Yep.
Yeah, she said the same thing. She said the same thing, man. For sure, for sure. All right.
So fat. Exactly.
Also, so like I said, the 100 podcast, right? Some of the themes that I've seen with through this, right? And you already know it. You already know what I'm about to say next, right? Fellas, take over 23, man. Take over 23.
Yes, sir.
This is the perfect year. The perfect year to be the best version of yourself, right? Take over, take over 23, right? If you haven't made any progress this year, this is your moment to actually figure out exactly what progress you want to make and make the progress, right?
Yeah. You got to take over 23. 23 is the year to go.
It's the year of the go. Actually, it actually is.
Yep.
Yeah. So like I said, fellas, hey, you better be doing something. You better do something with your life this year. That's for
Swear.
damn sure. You better make sure this is a memorable year that you actually learn something from.
Yep.
Because like I said, you don't want to be just living another year and saying, yeah, I don't really remember that year. Yeah, 2023, I don't remember what happened. Right? You can never live life. You can never live life like that for sure. So like I said, it's take over 23, fellas. You better do something with your life, man.
For damn sure. I did more in 2022 than I did in 2021 and 2020 combined.
Okay?
So I'm gonna do, and here's the thing. I plan on doing more this year than I did in 2022,
You have to.
and then in 2024, I'm gonna do more than I did this year and last year combined, and it's gonna be
Like I said, that's how it's supposed to be, man. That's how
Yeah.
how it should be. That's how it should be for sure. All right, give me 1 second, fellas. Hold up, man. Anthony, do you have anything you want to say? Did you come up with any topics, man?
I would have,
All right.
but I was dealing with a crisis tonight, so
Okay. All right. All right. That's fine.
yeah. I'll tell you after the pod.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah. You
All
can,
right.
as a matter of fact, you can see it outside. It was pissing me off.
Okay, I'll definitely check it out for
Yeah.
sure. All right. Another thing that I wanted to mention, right? This is not going to be in any specific order, but I'm gonna let you guys know if there's out of the 100 podcasts, right? If there's 10 that I would like you guys to watch, and you would get either entertainment value or actually, real life, real world value outside of entertainment. These are going to be the podcasts that I'm going to recommend. Okay. So number one, like I said, these are not going to be in any specific order, but I just have them, listed for sure. So the first one is going to be number 95, the divine masculinity. Right? If you're a man and you want to better your life in some type of way, yeah, I would say most men can benefit from this podcast, no matter what age you're in, no matter what age that you are, you're going to be able to learn something from this podcast. So episode number 95, one of my favorites for sure, one of my favorites to film, and one of the best that I've done in my opinion. Right, along with this.
Yeah.
Second one is going to be self hypnosis, which is a podcast that I did recently. This is
that was
going
a
to
good
be
one.
this is going to be a solid one. For just
That was a really good one.
reconstructing the way you think about yourself, as well as being very very conscious of your environment and exactly what you're putting into your environment, and also what you're getting out of your environment. So that is definitely a good one for sure. Another one is going to be episode number 86, which is going to be the 21 lessons I learned before turning 21. That is also going to be a very very good one for sure. A lot of good foundational life lessons to be learned in that podcast for sure. Another one is going to be one of my favorite ones that I've ever done. Episode number 75, the 30 Champ Commandments, right? Everything that I believe in, this is something that I'm going to recommend for everybody to watch for sure. And I would like for you to also make some rules that you live by, right? You could take some of the ones that I mentioned, and you also can add some for yourself, right? This is definitely something that I would recommend everybody to do. What are things that you live by, right? What are rules that you want to live by? What are values that you have? And like I said, that podcast absolutely fantastic. Of course, it's the shit that I believe in, but yeah, like I said, it's happened with that for sure. Another one is going to be one of my favorite ones that I have made in terms of entertainment value. Absolutely fantastic. And Anthony, I'm sure you remember this one too.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Number 71. This was with Anthony. This was talking about the double standards as well as the Hollow Weekend. Right. That was definitely a fantastic podcast.
That was a fantastic. That one was funny too.
That one was funny.
That was funny as hell.
Yeah, that was definitely a good one for sure.
Yeah.
Another one is going to be number 63, Undefeated Mindset podcast. That is definitely one that I recommend for everybody to have. If you are a person who is sadly weak-minded or has a hard time with, formulating ideal situations for yourself, that is definitely going to be one that I recommend. Honestly, for everybody, even if like I said, even if that what I just said doesn't apply to you, this is something that I'm gonna recommend for you to watch because it'll give you some of the ways that I think and some of the ways that I believe most people should think when it comes to living the most favorable life that they possibly can. So tap in with that one for sure. One of my favorite ones for sure. Episode number, or not episode, yeah, episode number 54. Another one that I definitely love making. This was going to be with my grandma.
Yeah, she was spitting in that podcast.
That's what I'm saying, right? That's
She
what I'm
was
saying.
spitting facts.
Like I said, if you wanna, I gotta get her back on the podcast here soon. But yeah, that's definitely gonna be one filled with wisdom, filled with a lot of gems, and also hopefully giving y'all more perspective on today's society because she definitely gave a lot of perspective of the flaws within society for sure.
Yeah, she gave y'all a cheat code for real.
Actually, that's what I'm saying. All right, another one that I enjoyed very very much is going to be episode number 50. Anthony, I'm sure you remember that one.
Yep.
That one doesn't even feel like that long ago, dude. It was only like 5 months ago.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying, right?
It's
Yeah,
wild.
episode number 50. That one had KJ and Anthony on for sure. Yeah, definitely a lot of gems in that one for sure.
Yeah, that one was fun too. I like that one.
All right, bring Bree back. Yes, Bree. I mention her. Bree's my sister. She was on episodes. She was on 2 episodes, 3 episodes actually, 2 by herself and 1 with her friend. Definitely enjoyed that one as well. With that being said, she actually has the most views out of any podcast that I've done. I think it's like 300 something, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, definitely that was definitely a good one for sure. I'll bring her back, but she's not bringing the views, man. Then she ain't coming back. She gave me 300. But you better give me more than that, man.
Oh man.
All right, I'm messing around. But another one that I enjoyed making for sure was going to be the one I did with my little brother, episode number 51 with my boy Drew. So yeah, that is definitely going to be one that I would recommend as well. If you want to see the knowledge within my little brother who's only 12, that is definitely going to be a good one for sure.
Yeah.
And like I said, that was one of my favorite ones that I've made for sure. And another one that I also enjoyed making very very much is going to be episode number 12 with Rudy and Anthony. Shout out to Rudy, my cousin. And also obviously Anthony, one of the 13 that he's been on.
Oh yeah, I love that one. That one will make people think.
Yeah, that one's definitely going to make you think
Definitely
for sure. One of the few podcasts that I've actually had 3 people on, and it was definitely a very good one.
Yeah.
And also, we also had the podcast after that no one could see, sadly. But
Oh yeah.
let me tell you, it was fantastic. It was fantastic.
The Unseen Legendary podcast.
That's what I'm saying.
Now
man.
that one was insane too.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it was really really good. But yeah, we'll definitely have a lot of people back on. If you watching this, if you watch some of the podcasts and you enjoyed some of the guests that I did have on, I want you to go ahead and let me know some of your favorite guests, as well as ones that you want me to bring back on for sure outside of Bree. Obviously, I got to bring Bree back on, but there's going to be a lot of people. And yeah, with this being said, right, this is the last episode. This is the last episode of season 1 of the Life of a Champ podcast. So we're gonna get into season 2. That's gonna be 101 all the way to 200. I will be having a lot of the same people back on, as well as some new faces as well. So definitely looking forward to that for sure. Like I said, if there's anybody I'm gonna have back on, let me know. And also, if there's any specific requests you have for people that I do know personally, of course I can reach out to people who obviously have a bigger podcast, but the odds of it happening is not as high. But I'm definitely looking forward to having more people on within season 2 for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Anthony, of course, he's gonna be back on.
Oh, always, of course,
on
gotta
now.
be.
Gotta be.
I realized why I like the episode with Rudy so much because I think that one's easily hands down. Ooh, actually, for me that one's tied with Hollow Weekend.
Hollow Weekend was tough.
But yeah, those two were tough. But the reason why I like the one with Rudy so much is because we did exactly what we were talking about earlier in this pod, which is we were having a conversation, right?
Yeah.
And clearly we had differing perspectives from what Rudy was talking about, right?
Yeah, for damn sure.
Exactly. But you know what? No, there was no screaming, right? There was no wilding out. There's no getting emotional. We just sat there and we're like, okay, that's interesting, right? And then we're like, but how? Consider this, right? And then we're like, consider this, and it was a very very interesting conversation.
Yeah, definitely very productive.
Very productive.
Yeah.
Like change your whole view of how it's what a conversation, right, of differing perspectives should look like. And it's still, here's the thing, whether you get angry about it or not, it's still would be one of the most interesting things you can watch is to watch 2 people of differing perspectives, right, who have knowledge about what they're talking about, go head to head. Now that's interesting.
For sure,
really
for sure.
Yeah.
Like I said, those are going to be some of my favorites for sure. Of course, I do have a lot more favorites than just 10, but if I had to give you guys 10, that's going to give you guys value as well as, obviously have the entertainment value. Those are going to be the ones for sure. Like I said, I want to know your guys' favorite podcast that you remember in recent time. Make sure to go ahead and leave in the comments for sure. Like I said, also, if there's any specific people you want me to have back on the podcast, let me know for sure. We got 10 people in here. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. If you're in here and you're new, make sure to go ahead and leave a comment just so I can see it live and say it was good. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and like I said, just chop it up with the people for the one time. Yeah, nobody on Twitch. Okay, bet. All right.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. Anthony, is there any podcast that you enjoyed that you weren't on?
Oh yeah, yep. I told you, like I was saying, the one you had with your grandma, I love that one. That one was an absolute masterpiece, right? That she brought together. And then the first one you did with Bree, right? Because I didn't get to see the other two for whatever reason at the time.
Probably work,
But
yeah.
yeah. Typically, it's always work. It was always work, I swear. No, but the first one you did with Bree too, I really liked that one too. That one had a lot of what's it called? A lot of things that made me go, oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it was like on spirituality or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that was definitely a good one for sure.
Ooh, the one with Adrian as well. I really like that one too. I was locked in on that one as well.
Yeah, that's the second highest viewed one for sure. Yeah, no, that was definitely one of the ones that definitely had a lot of entertainment value for sure. Which is, yeah, like I said, the second podcast of all time. Definitely a good one for sure.
Man, I was locked into that like it was a like I swear like people are locked in with a Netflix binge. That one was a really good one. The one with Adrian. Yeah.
Yeah, Bree still has the record in D. Yeah, she do. She do. Yeah, we here's the thing. 2023. Yeah, we breaking that shit. We breaking the Bree's record for damn sure. We have to. I'm sorry, Bree. We got to break your record, man. We got to. Fellas, like I said, 2023, Takeover 23, man. Make sure you're doing something this year. Like I said, the way I want to end season one off, it just realizing that 2023 is, like I said, it's a new year. We're still in the beginning of the year, right? We still got 300 something days left of this year.
Yep.
Make sure you're doing something with those 300 days. Set a goal. Set out a new skill that you want to develop. Even a new habit that you want to develop. What are these things that you want to go ahead and add to your life, right? Add to your arsenal of skills this year, man. Like I said, there's a lot of time, and also one thing I want to mention as well is don't underestimate the amount of progress you can make in 1 year. Yeah, if there's something that I've learned for damn sure with this podcast is in 1 year's time, it feels like a long time, but it's really not that long of a time. But there's so much progress that could be made. What were you saying, Anthony?
I'm just saying your progress is only limited by your creativity. Honestly,
That's true.
however far you think you can go, you can get there. You definitely can get there. It reminds me of because I remember it's when I first seen this in action, right? It's literally if you have a picture of what you want to be and you really want to be that, right? Oh, you'll find a way to get all of that you want to. Because I remember back in high school, for me that view was right because I was behind. I was a bit behind. When I say no car, right? No job, no what's it called? So I couldn't go anywhere. I was like no permit, no license, no job, no money. I was like, damn, I want all that, right? Because I saw the other kids, right, driving around school, right? They got their lanyards hanging around their neck with their keys on it, right?
Yeah.
Even Rigo was one of them. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. They got they can go wherever they want, whenever they want, right? I was like, dang, I always want all that, right? And here's the thing, cars are expensive.
Cars are expensive. That's true.
Here's the thing. So I always wanted that, but I was like, I couldn't get it at the time, right? Because I didn't have a job at the time, right? So, but here's the thing. That view of what I wanted, right? It never left me. It never left me. I was like, I could see myself, that guy, one arm hanging out the window, blasting music down the street. The same guys I see going to school all the time, back and forth. That was a vision I wanted. And you know what? I got that vision. I got that vision last year. I got that vision. I mean, it took me a while, right? Because I was procrastinating getting my license and shit like that. But
yeah,
permit, license, everything, car, all of that, all in one, right? And sure enough, I got the same exact thing. Lanyard hanging around my neck, right? Blasting music down the street, with my arm hanging out the window, right? I was like, and it didn't hit me until I was just casually on my way to head somewhere, and I was just in a really good mood for some reason. I was like, hold up. I was like, why am I so happy right now? Then I was like, then I realized I was like, this is the vision I seen for myself that I wanted a few years ago, and now I'm getting it. Here's the thing, and that's a lesson too. You're not gonna get it right away. If there's a vision of yourself that you see in the future, and you're like, I want that, I'm going to get that, right? It may take some time. For me, like I said, it took me like 3 years to get that, right?
For sure.
And that's just a small vision, right? Imagine you think grand. You think grander than that, it's gonna take more like 5, 8, 10 years, however long it takes. But you know what? You will see it. You will see that person. You will see yourself become that person that you wanted to see, right?
For sure.
If you have a mental image, like I know exactly what this person was doing, the person I wanted to become, right? And now I am doing, and I am that person that I wanted to be back then. I was like, yo, I'm really that guy. And now here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Now I'm developing, right? Because I don't have, it's not 100% clear yet, but now I'm developing the visual image of what I want to be in the next 4 or 5 years. And once I get that image, I'm gonna be going places.
Yeah,
going,
locked in.
You're gonna go
Locked
so far. I was like, okay, so what is this person's what does my future person's car look like? What does their house look like? What does their life look like? Right? How is their day-to-day structured? Right? What is their mindset like? So once I can develop
What
all
do their
that.
tattoos look like?
What are their tattoos? Man, oh no, those are coming this year. That was one of the things I'm getting this year.
It's locked in, boy.
Locked in. I already told you I got some money saved up for it. Just wait till you guys see me on the pod with not this arm right here, all of it.
We're waiting, man.
All of it, man. It's gonna be. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah,
I'm
for
looking
sure.
forward to that one.
Yeah, but like we were saying, right? Like I said, don't underestimate yourself. Let's just say within a year span, and also within like I said, a 5-year span, right?
Yeah.
You want to set reasonably high expectations for yourself, and you want to, more importantly, demand more than what you're doing right now. Obviously, you could be doing more with your life than what you're doing right now. You must demand more from yourself, right? I can't stress that enough. This is something that I've seen time and time again for myself, and also for the ones around me that I've seen where they demand more from themselves. Anthony's a perfect example of this.
Yep.
They demand more from themselves, so they got more for themselves, right? So, like I said, we got 300 days left in this year. What are you going to do? How do you want to do it? And who do you want to be, more importantly, right? What are some identities that you want to adopt, and what are some identities you want to leave behind? You must figure that all out. And like I said, do not underestimate yourself, right? At the very least, even if you set a high expectation for this year, right? If you fall short, but you still make more progress than you did if you actually said, hey, I want to reach this goal, and you actually hit that goal, you might have made more progress than you would have if you didn't set your goal so high. So, yeah, come on, man. Like I said, you get 300 days left. Make something of this year, man, and we're gonna go ahead and go forth with that. Appreciate it. Yep, you already know what time it is, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it.
All right, give me 1 second. Yeah, so just to recap on some of the few things that I have learned for sure before I go and end it off. With this podcast, I went to go ahead and seek self-evaluation and self-analysis, right? And just constant evolution with that entire progress for sure. And like I said, you watching this, I'm sure you've seen the progress that I've made. And like I said, it all happened within a year. So there's a lot of things you can do within a year. And no, sadly, no music to end the show. But yeah, you need hopefully this gives you some type of vision for yourself, right? Analyze yourself, right? What is going to be a part of your constant evolution that you want for yourself, right? Ask yourself these questions. Give me 1 second. Man, I can't, man. I'm sorry. Here's the thing. I would do a live stream after this, but at the same time, LeBron's about to break the record, man. So I got to see what time it is, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Other than that, like I said, a few more things that I do want to mention for sure. All right. Anything that I talk about, I do want to get more in depth with what I believe and the viewpoints that I have. So, like I said, if you see me making a podcast topic on something, it's probably something that I've thought about for a minute and something that I do definitely want to go ahead and develop within the years that go beyond that for sure. So, like I said, if there's also a specific podcast topic that you do want me to go ahead and cover, that is within some of the podcast interest, right? Make sure you go ahead and let me know for sure. Other than that, give me 1 second. Hold up, man. Yeah, so I pretty much knocked out everything that I wanted everything that I wanted to talk about. Um, like I said, just be clear with your thoughts, man. Be clear with your thoughts. Recognize the importance of thinking critically, like we had mentioned earlier, and you should be in a much better position for sure. Like I said, I'll wait for you guys to say your final words for today's podcast, and then we'll go and end it off. Like I said, episode number 100, man. I can't believe it, man. I can't believe we're here.
Yes, sir. This was a good one.
Actually, okay, yeah, there's something I do want to mention as well. So I want to mention the title of the video real quick because I haven't mentioned that much. So, Fool to the Master Transformation. Fool to the Master Transformation. With this being said, recognize that anything that you want to do in this life, you're gonna have to first make the sacrifice of sucking at it, right? There's a lot of people that are too scared. They're too scared to suck at something. They're too scared to potentially fail. They're too scared, and maybe even of the potential embarrassment of what could be, right? You must recognize that in order to be great at something, you must suck at it first, right? Humble yourself, right? Whether it's going to the gym or whether it's, like I said, starting a podcast or whether it's starting a new job or pursuing a career, right? Recognize that at first it's going to be very, very rough, very, very rough, and that is just the beautiful thing of life. You should always be constantly in the state of the fool, right? This is something that I truly believe. You should always be starting something new where you're back in the position of the fool, right? Even if you get great at a lot of different things, you should still constantly seek that role of the fool. You should fall in love with that role. That's something that I've done with this podcast, and this is something that I'm going to continue to do throughout my years, is constantly see areas and see things that I do want to pursue and recognize and humble myself and bring myself back down to earth saying, hey, champ, you really ain't shit, man. Humble yourself, man.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't do this because they're scared to step out of their comfort zone, right? You must step into the discomfort zone. You must step into that and recognize that all the progress is going to be made within there, right?
Yeah.
Anthony, what do you have to say about that, man?
It's funny that you say that because that actually was one of the things I was going to use as, remember we always do the last words on the podcast.
Yeah.
What you just said was practically what I wanted to say, which was humble yourself to your future self, right?
Thanks.
So, because think about this, right?
Okay.
This is the perspective I thought of when I was thinking about this. I was like, whatever I'm doing right now, right? If I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing good, right? I want my future self to look at it, back and be like, that's it.
That's it.
That's it, right? Because here's the thing, right? Imagine that, like, gym scenario, right? I'm in the gym, right? I'm doing my max weight, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm getting what, 5 reps in, right? My future self gonna look back, say, that's the way you're doing. That's it.
That's it.
5 reps. That's it, right? Or think of it like this, or maybe this, right? I'm making a decent amount of money at a job, right? I'm making like, let's say $5,000 a week, right?
Okay.
That's a pretty good amount of money, right?
Yeah.
To be making a week. I want my future self to be saying, you making $5,000 a week? That's it. Right?
Yup.
Here's the thing, because here's like, yeah, you're making $5,000 a week. That's cool. I'm making $10,000 a week. So that's it. That's it. Right? Exactly. My future self is always looking back at me and saying, hey, that's it.
Exactly, for sure. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Your
to be
future
honest
self should never be your future self should never be impressed with your current self, right? It's like, hey, yo, you're doing good. You could do better though. You could do better.
Exactly. That's exactly the way it is, right? Yeah. So yeah, just wrapping it up right there. Like I said, fool to the master transformation. Always adopt the role as the fool and recognize that if you want to be great at something, you must first suck at it completely, right?
Exactly.
That is something that I've seen time and time again. And I'm not calling myself a master at this podcast shit at all. But what I am saying is I'm definitely not the fool anymore, for sure. 100 podcasts deep. Make 100 videos. Make 100 shitty videos, and then you can definitely see yourself making progress within those 100 videos, for sure. So that's something that I've did and a piece of advice that I heard and something that I took and applied to my life, right? So with that being said, make sure you're constantly putting yourself in the full position, right? A lot of people are too scared, but it is the absolute the necessary thing to do within the human experience, for sure.
Yep. And about that, right? For the fool to master, right? The being afraid to fail, right? Here's something you guys should do. Instead of being afraid to fail, be excited to learn, right?
Facts. Yep.
Because here's the thing, right? If you're afraid because you don't know enough, right? You're afraid because you don't know enough. Be excited to learn the stuff that you don't know, right? Because the more you learn, the better you get at it. The more comfortable you get at it, right?
For sure, for sure.
until you become the master.
Other than that, fellas, like I said, I appreciate for stopping by. One thing I want to say before I go and end it off. Like I said, I pretty much, man. I love all my supporters, man. I can't thank you guys enough for the support that you've given me. My support system, as strong as it comes, man. That's for sure. So I just want to say thank you to every single person that has attended the podcast. If you're new, like I said, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Also, make sure you go ahead and leave a like for sure. Other than that, like I said, this was episode number 100 of the Life of Champ podcast, Full to the Master Transformation, featuring the boy Anthony. You already know what time it is. I'll go ahead and end you guys off with the podcast motto. Like I said, episode number 100, fellas. We're going to go ahead and end off the podcast motto, right? Fellas out here, man, we don't just work, man.
We outwork.
So make sure y'all working these motherfuckers every single day. It's as simple as that, man. You already know what time it is, man. Like I said, I'm probably going to be taking a week off, just to let you guys know. So I'll probably be doing some live streams and stuff like that. I'll still be uploading videos for sure. So, yeah, tap in with that for sure. Other than that, pretty much that's all it is, fellas. Episode number 100. I'm looking forward to the next 100, and I'm looking forward to hitting episode 1,000 for sure.
That's gonna be
Sounds unreasonable, but when I started the first podcast, episode number 100 looked like a big mountain, but it's just a part of the journey, man. It's just a part of the journey. So definitely tap in for that, and then yeah. Other than that, like I said, I'll be back in about a week, and go ahead and tap in with that for sure. Season 2 of the Life of Champ podcast is starting in about a week, so tap in with that. Y'all have a good rest of your nights, and like I said, adopt the roles of full, and you'll be good, man. You'll be good. Y'all have a good night.